Hi, I'm Dorian Ellen Bell Dotan in Sfat. I think I finally got the positioning right on this camera. It's a new camera and I'm not very techy. Old school. One comment I'd like to make at the beginning of this discussion is I see that there are Orthodox people, I think primarily Orthodox men, interacting with my videos, commenting under pseudonym accounts. And that's perfectly okay. I can understand why they would do that. I'm glad that they're showing interest. And in the yeshiva world, it may be safer to do things that way. However, if someone is going to level criticism against someone in an authoritarian tone of voice, hiding behind no picture and no name, the dissonance can't be taken seriously. So if you've really got something to argue with me about, then I would request that you do so in your own name, because I just can't take somebody criticizing me and anonymously entirely seriously. A lot of things are happening in the world with Israel. And some years ago I made a video called The End of the World that the Talmud generated. Bezat Hashem, I knew that this was going to happen. The reason why I made that video was because I was hoping that the transition would be peaceful by people accepting it willingly. Because I knew that if they didn't, if there was resistance, that there would be disruptions in the world. I preferred that people willingly came out of the idol worship that generates all of the negative things that we see in the world. Sadly, that didn't happen, and we are now confronted with the kinds of situations that we see both in Israel and outside of Israel in relation to Israel. One of the issues that I would like to address is the folly of learning Zohar. I'm going to link to the exact quote below from Shlomo HaMelech, in which he warns people not to make many books, and he uses the term hizaher, be careful of doing, warning people to be careful of doing this, and that's exactly the same consonants as in Sefer HaZohar, hizaher. Shlomo HaMelech saw in Ruach HaKodesh that this book was going to be written and warned in advance against it. The reason why the Zohar was written, and it was not written by Shimon ben Yochai, not Bar Yochai, ben Yochai, he was in Israel. It was written by Moshe de Leon, whose wife and daughters attest that they saw him writing it. The Aramaic of the Zohar suggests that it was in fact written during the Middle Ages. Some of the anachronisms that appear in the Zohar also suggest that it was not written by Shimon ben Yochai. The reason why the Zohar was written was because the Jews found themselves in chaos, not exactly like, but to the same extent of the chaos that we see today that was being generated by Talmud learning in his time, and he was trying to get a grip on something that he could hold on to, because the Talmud was not providing the kind of peace and stability that people needed. They were in extreme danger from the Inquisition. And he wrote this book in a desperate attempt to hold on to holiness. And it didn't work because he wouldn't let go of that which was generating the problem in the first place. I have never known anyone who learned or learns Talmud assiduously who is not severely damaged by it, both mentally and emotionally. And if as a result, someone then, having been damaged by the Talmud and having their lives thrown into chaos as a result of it, they begin to learn the pseudo-Kabbalah of the Zohar, they run the risk of quite frankly losing it altogether, just going off the rails. Sefer HaYetzirah is on a much, much higher level than Sefer HaZohar. However, the correct way to learn Kabbalah is directly through Tanakh. Trust Hashem's judgment. If Hashem wants you to know the secrets of Torah, you will be shown the secrets of Torah directly through Tanakh. The rabbinical observation that more than the calf wants to suckle, the cow wants to give milk, is very, very much on point. Hashem wants you to have the truth of Torah infinitely more than you want the truth of Torah. But we have to be prepared for it. We have to merit it. We have to work on ourselves in order to be able to receive it correctly. Otherwise, our imagination will block and color and put distorting images on the information, and what will come out with amounts to hallucinations. Basically, what the Zohar is, and this is why it is especially important that women not learn the Zohar. There's a new thing now with women learning Zohar, and there are even women that are selling courses. First of all, it's like the Old Testament and the New Testament. If it's Testament, it's not new, and if it's new, it's not Testament. It's the same thing with the Zohar. If it can be sold, it's not the Zohar, and if it's the Zohar, it cannot be sold. One simply does not sell the priceless. And anyone who has received true Kabbalah would not, they would be afraid to sell it, frankly, and they're also provided for by Hashem because they're learning Torah, and Hashem creates maximal conditions for them to learn. There's no need for them. to sell it. So anyone who's selling this stuff is not selling you the real deal. You're getting schlock. And if you think that you can get pre-chewed, pre-digested Zohar through a book, you deserve the schlock that you get. There is only one way to learn the true Kabbalah, and that is from Tanakh directly, in the time that Hashem designates for you to learn it. In exactly the same way that it would be foolhardy to try to chemically induce puberty or force it, for the exact same reasons, trying to induce receiving pure Torah, doing so by force can only do great harm to you. There's no such thing as busting into the back door. When you're ready for this, Hashem will be more than happy to show you what's happening. You will begin to see in Torah what you do not see now. If you're not seeing it, if Torah is a closed book to you, it's because you're not ready. And trust Hashem's judgment, trust Hashem's timing. Do not try to bust in through the back door. What is taught in the Kabbalah is, when I say the Kabbalah, I mean the pseudo-Kabbalah, the stuff that goes around and calls itself the Kabbalah. What's taught in books like the Zohar is the attempt of men to understand that which happens in the womb of a woman with their minds, which cannot be done. And when they try to do that, what happens in the womb of a woman is all of the wisdom of the inception of all worlds. If a woman gets to a level where she can look within herself and understand the processes of inception, of the implantation of the egg in the womb and the development of the womb and the birth process and the nursing process, if she can understand the depths of what that is, she understands everything there is to know about creation. Men cannot reach that level. I'll say that again. Men cannot reach that level. Just accept the facts. That's the way it is. Even Hanivi'im had to call out to the female and say, "Oi, oi, wake up." Assume the leadership role in bringing about the redemption, because a man cannot do it. The Nevi'im were on a level where they were able to accept that women are on a higher level with the right attitude. They accepted God's judgment on this matter. Men who will not accept it only make fools of themselves when they start to talk about Partsufim and so forth and so on. Partsuf reminds me of when my daughter was little. She used to say, "Ze partsuf chatsuf." That's the only correct usage of the term. Partsuf is a mispronunciation of a Greek term which actually means persons. So anyone describing personhood to God is firmly in the field of idol worship, of Avodah Zarah, Grida. We have to be able to discern the difference between God and the ancient Holy One of Israel, who is the unity of the holiness that founded Israel, that created Israel. The holy mothers and fathers, the holy judges, the holy prophets. And these are the house of David. Yes. The name Sarah, which equals 505, is Bet Halachme. That is the value also, 505, and it is also the value of Halacha L'Maaseh. It is also Lomedet Vehoga, or Talmud Vehogeh. Hogeh v'Talmud. Hogeh Talmudo. This is the name Sarah, talking about a very, very high level of learning, and only those from Beit Lechmi who are really and truly connected to Sarah Imenu are able to understand Torah correctly. Anyone else who tries to force their way in, anyone else who tries to somehow duplicate it, is going to find themselves in a world of chaos and in a world of trouble. That is the world that's breaking up now. A good parent prepares the child for the oncoming puberty by preparing them emotionally, intellectually, that they should understand what's coming, giving them the right values of how to conduct themselves with their new body. Learning the Kabbalah is the same thing. It is attaining a new level of maturity and a new level of being able to give birth. That can't be forced. But one can prepare someone for it. And the way in which I would prepare someone who really and sincerely wants to learn Torah correctly is to stop learning Talmud, stop learning the pseudo-Kabbalah, to learn Tanakh, and to ask Hashem for guidance. Because we have been misguided for a long, long time. We need that guidance, and that can only come from Hashem. Although in order to learn Torah correctly, we have to connect ourselves with the ancient Holy One of Israel, which means the collective body of the true tzaddikim, the true founders of Israel, how we do that has to come through God. Okay, we cannot make the decision for ourselves. I want this teacher, I want that teacher, I want to go this way, that way. We don't know ourselves well enough to do that. So what we do is we ask Hashem to show us the truth without any qualifications, without any conditions. And then we will be shown the truth in the way that best suits our nature, our proclivities, our talents, our needs. So please stop learning the pseudo-Kabbalah stuff. You are damaging yourself, and especially women. It is so, I'm really hard pressed to think of a higher level of dissociation and lack of self-awareness than a Jewish woman who learns the pseudo-Kabbalah of the men. What they're doing is trying to understand what only you can do, and then you're learning their ersatz. Just simply be what you are. Thank you for listening.